Alright, welcome back to the Animal Combo Project. In this tutorial, we're going to continue with primarily dealing with text in this image. So we're going to ignore the fact right now that there's no shadows, that the animal isn't quite fit in this environment. But what I've looked at here is this book by Alan Lightman, Einstein's Dreams, which is a really excellent novel. I highly recommend it. And I just wanted to add some things from it. I could have added like a quote here, but basically I just added a title and then who the author is, and basically since this is my cover, I just chose my name, so put by James Kleckner. And we're going to adjust this type and talk about type in this tutorial. So if you double click on any of these, you can see here the typeface I've chosen, which is Baskerville regular. And I'm going to adjust some of the settings here, but I just wanted to show you that. And if I double click on this one, we got Mired Pro, which is one of the more default sort of standard typefaces. Typically, when you choose typefaces for a book, I would say stick to no more than two different typefaces. Usually, sometimes you can go three, but better to minimize the amount. And I chose bold and condensed for the look of it, and so there's lots of options with Miter Pro. That's why it's usually actually quite popular. And if you ever want to create type, all you gotta do is click with the type tool, click anywhere in here, and just type away. And then you have some type, and you can always double click on it, retype it however you want. Yeah, so pretty much that's how you deal with it. I'm going to delete that layer. So I'm going to talk about how to modify the type. If you double click on the T here, so I highlight the text, and you can see here I have 100 point. By default, this only goes to 72. So you just highlight and then type in whatever number you want. So I could type in 200 or 300. And then same for here at the bottom, I just highlight and type in whatever amount I want. Now with each of these, what I want to do is, and by the way, by default this would be set to left justified, so I centered it by clicking the little icon here, is open up the character palette for the type. Once you have the type selected, you can go to the character menu, which is right here, this little folder icon. You click on that and it opens with the character, and usually it's bookmarked with the paragraph settings. So with this, what I want to adjust is the tracking. I also want to make this all cap. So if I click on the double T here, it'll make it all cap. So that's the first thing I want to do. And I chose this title, Evolutionary Happenstance, as if evolution is gone mad. And basically I'm going to drag out the tracking a little bit. Maybe not quite so much. Just kind of adjust here, maybe around 40. I kind of like that for the top. Now for the bottom, I want to drag it out so it meets more with, in line with the top title. So I can drag it out that way. And then once I'm close, I can type in a numerical number here. So I can type in like 344 to see if that lines up. That actually lines up pretty well there. And I can even adjust other things. So like right now I have it 60 point. Maybe I want this to be like 48. Maybe I want it to be a little bit smaller. It seems like it makes more sense to have a little bit smaller. So let me drag out that tracking a little bit better. This is a sort of proven trick with typography, is to have the top line bigger and the bottom line sort of dragged out a little bit smaller. It doesn't always work out, but that looks pretty good. I think evolutionary happenstance. Now to center this on the text, once you click out with the move tool, you can hit Control A or Command A on the Mac, and then use your little widgets up here. So if I click on that, that centers it, and then click on that, and that centers it. And then I can just hold Shift and drag up, and I will now know that this is completely centered both vertically and horizontally till I get to here. And then deselect by hitting Control D or Command D. I kind of like that. I think that looks pretty good there. Now I may want to apply some style effects. We may do that in the next tutorial, kind of go in a little bit more detail on that. But let's set up the other type. So double click on James Kleckner here. The first thing I want to do is make the by a little bit smaller. I don't think it needs to be quite so big, maybe 36. Actually, I'm thinking the whole name needs to be a little bit smaller, so I think it's better to have it about like 36 there. I don't think it needs to be quite so strong. Maybe that's a little small. Let me go back here. Sometimes you have to play the difference. There we go, 48 points looks pretty good. With this, I actually want this type to be the different color. So you can click on the little color swatch here, and I actually want it to be this blue sky color. And then click OK. And then it needs some other attributes, so it needs to stand out in other ways. But let's go ahead and center it. So if we again hit Command A or Control A on the Mac, and then click on these two little icons, that'll center it. And then I can hold Shift and drag downwards, and I kind of want it to be about right there. And then hit Control D to deselect. So my type is looking pretty good. And the next tutorial will cover style effects for type, but I pretty much like the layout here. So we'll see you next in the next tutorial. Cheers.